back, everyone, to our final episode of So You Want to Start a Business, Want to Start a Small Business.
Yes.
Is our series, and we're on the final episode, The Launch. So today we are going to be, I am joined with Sandy Wheeler from the Gannon SBDC and Janet Hale from the U.S. Small Business Administration from the Pittsburgh region. Always a pleasure to be hanging out during this podcast and talking about all things small business, and very excited to go through the finale, which we're going to recap everything we've talked about over the last few weeks and giving some final pointers on what you want to do as you are actually launching the small business that you have decided to bring to fruition.
Yeah. So we started with the idea. We moved to, what was it? The brand, the funding, and now we're on the launch,
Yes.
which is probably the most stressful.
Yes. Yes, but don't let it get to you that way.
Right.
Look at it, this is good stress, right? We have bad stress and we have good stress. Some of the bad stress is going to happen, but the launch really should be a good stress. And if you get the resources in place, you do the planning, you look at the big picture, you should be able to get through it as stress-free as possible. Don't quote me on that, but I promise it'll be a good thing. It'll be positive for sure. So we started with, the dream, right? The idea. Don't let that get lost in the shuffle of everything that you've been doing and now looking at launching, right?
That's very true.
Because sometimes you can lose sight on why you're doing everything, why you're going through the financials, why you're going through all of the day-to-day, getting inventory. It can seem like it's a never-ending, very stressful situation. So you never want to lose sight on why you're doing it all.
Right.
Because it's your dream.
We talked to a client, I think it was last quarter, and they had said they've been approached several times about you should do this or let's expand, and they just kept staying focused to their idea and why they originally started. But it's so easy to go off track because everybody's excited to interact with you.
Yes.
And let's engage, let's do this, let's partner, and that might be totally off, of your mission or your idea that you had.
Absolutely. You don't forget about those things because at some point you may want to expand. You may want to collaborate, those kinds of things that happen. But at this point in the game, you've got to be focusing on getting that business launched and getting it going at the plan you put in place and the way that you followed from the idea to the launch.
Right.
So it's really important to be doing that. So the idea piece, right? Making sure you keep it, in the forefront. This is the purpose, right? We all need our purpose, and our purpose is to bring that idea to life, that dream to life. So keeping that in mind, you definitely want to make sure that you are, really fulfilling the desire you had at the very beginning. So we got the idea in place, but you also had to think about, how am I going to do this? And money always has to come in.
Right,
Always, right? We don't always like to think about that because it can be very stressful, but it's very important. And we talked a lot about the various ways that you can make this as smooth as possible by working with SBDC, and there are other resources, SBA loans, in particular.
Microloans, right.
Microloans. We definitely had some great information about some of those ways to finance. Money is going to come into play regardless if you're not taking a loan or not. You still need something. So whether you're self-financing, using a combination of several different kinds of loan programs, funding programs that are available to you, they're out there. We can help you at the SBDC to prepare the documents that those lenders are going to be looking for, those funders are going to be looking for. So you come to us for the idea. We're going to help you flush that out, kind of figure out what's happening in your market. We're going to help you to develop your financial projections that are going to be expected. And I always say when I'm working with clients, this is for the bank, but it is especially for you.
Right.
Because if you don't understand and it's not feeling right to you as we're developing the financials, it's going to be an obstacle that will be a problem.
Yeah.
So yes, you need it to go to the bank, but you also need it for your own planning, your sanity and your focus and goal,
Right.
which is, do I have enough money to get this business going? Am I following my budget?
Exactly.
You know, so all of those things can come out during that funding piece.
Even if financials isn't in your wheelhouse, that you're not great at spreadsheets, let's say that, you still want to understand where the money is going. And like you said, what capital do you have to work with? Because it's your business. Don't leave it in the hands of somebody else.
Yeah. And we always talk about the idea of you should not be starting a business a week after you decide you want to. Because
We've seen that.
we
Yeah.
have seen it.
I want to launch at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay, let's slow down.
So piece of the funding is good credit,
Mhm.
right? So if you have had some, you know, all of us have things that happen to us, and so there's
It's life.
nothing to be ashamed of about that. Things happen.
Mhm.
But if you do have an issue, you had medical bills that came up, you had, you know, whatever situation you may have been in, divorces, we've had, you know, things like that go,
Mhm.
get that credit going. And there are many ways to be able to do that. So make sure you're working on that so that you get the best possible rate and the best possible funding product that's available to you.
Right.
It's just going to open up and leave, you know, again, reducing that stress. We know it's there, but let's not make it that it's overpowering all the great things that are happening at launch.
Yeah. Janet, let's bring in your cupcake company that we always like to reference. Did you go and get cupcakes the last time that we chatted?
Yes, I did.
What was their process like from idea to launch?
No, you know what? I went to a coffee shop and they had special cupcakes, designed. This happened to be a St. Patrick's Day one. It had little gold in the center. That was a surprise. It had a licorice rainbow. It was just so cute and themed, and it
Yeah.
tasted wonderful. And so you can engage customers, ask them for ideas, make them a part of your business.
Mhm.
Keep them involved, ask them for ideas, flavors of the month. That way they can say, hey, I suggested that, and they're going to come buy your cupcakes
Yeah, brand loyalty.
if they suggested your idea. They're going to tell all their friends too.
Right.
And that's unique to that particular company
Mhm.
because there are bakeries everywhere, right?
Right.
And yeah, you'll see the cookies with the shamrock on them, that's kind of a given. But to do something special like you just mentioned there, that's something that is definitely brand oriented, right?
Right.
That is what is establishing and setting them apart from the other choices that are out there, which we spoke about branding a lot, because it's not marketing, it's branding.
Right.
And that's not always easy to really separate in your mind because there is a connection. But it is so important to stay on brand. And I love
Yes.
that idea, that little gold, that's fun. I would have loved to have one of those. That would have been a lot of fun. Did you do an Instagram or something?
No, but I wish I could have. It makes you want to know what they're doing for July 4th. What the cupcakes will look like for Halloween, Hanukkah, Christmas, every holiday. Valentine's Day, I wish I would have went, what would have been a red.
Yeah, so you feel like you're missing out if
I
you
know.
don't go during the holiday season to see what they have to offer their customers.
Yeah. I think it just, everything that we just said, engaging your customers, I think that's, one of the keys that set apart one company over another in a very busy industry, right? Standalone bakeries used to be what I remember that when I was growing up, right? You went to the meat store, you went to the bakery, you went to the drugstore only for that pharmacy stuff. You didn't
Right.
go for everything else. So really being able to embrace your customers to help you to, stand out, because you can go to Giant Eagle, you can go to like D'Onofrio's is our local cut grocery down where I live.
Mhm.
They have a bakery. So how are you enticing somebody from going during the regular grocery shopping when they can pick up their cupcakes? then actually make the special trip to go.
Right.
And so engaging the customers is all part of the brand as well, because brand loyalty is what's going to help you to remain relevant and continue to be able to be successful.
Yeah.
So branding is really key. Logos, we hear a lot about the logos, what does that mean? We spoke about colors and, just the entire visual
Right.
of what the company is. And when I talk about logos, I will say your goal should be like the Nike swoosh.
Right. That's where my brain was going. If the words aren't there, people still know it's you.
Exactly. And, we know that from Nike, we know that from McDonald's. 2-year-olds can tell you they need to,
Yeah,
get a
the
burger. There's those, there's
Yeah.
the M, DQ. So, think of how the very successful brands, those national brands, what are, kind of concepts they have embraced and bring them to you.
Right.
At your, specific level, where you are with your company.
Yeah. Excuse me. I like that you mentioned Instagram, because you got to think about the channels too, where your market's at, what your brand is really resonating with on each of the channels. And every channel is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy and think, I got an Instagram, I got a Twitter, I got X now, and I'm on TikTok, but I'm not really good at it. But
And it's funny, that's so, tomorrow I'm doing the final session for the boot camp we're doing in Greenville, and it's digital marketing, social media. And that's exactly what I talk about. It's so easy to think, I've got to be everywhere because that's where everybody is.
Right.
Well, no, because you need to know your customer. When you know your customer, then you're going to know where they are. And that's where you need to be.
which is important to building that brand,
Absolutely.
not just launching, 30 days out from when you had the idea, like you said.
Yeah.
Really understanding where your customers are and the effort. You only have so much time in a day. What are you going to do with that time?
Yeah.
So narrowing down to your niche, and then you're saying, I'm going to put my energy here or my finances.
Yes. And your finances are also going to drive your brand and marketing,
Right,
right?
yeah.
So, this is really a good time for us to be talking about how with the launch, how all those things fit together. Everything drives the next thing. They're all intertwined. So the way that you set up your financials, the base that you need to launch, right? We're on launch. And also what funds you have focused on for your marketing and branding.
Yeah.
All of it is intertwined, and it does depend on the other to be successful. So it's really important to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, branding and marketing.
I know. We're getting off topic.
Yeah.
Because we love that so much. All right.
We do.
Janet and Maggie, we're talking about the launch. We got everything
Yes.
in place. We got our funding, we got our branding, our marketing, and it's launch. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What things do we have to be cognizant of when we are launching?
Well, you
We need to
gotta,
plan. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Janet.
Go
you
ahead.
gotta pick the perfect day. A lot of people aren't fans of Monday meetings. We all know that. You want to
Yeah.
look at calendars and don't do it on major holidays. Religious holidays, if schools are closed, maybe that's not a good idea because maybe your customer base isn't home with their kids. So you want to be strategic in thinking of who your customers are and when is a good time to launch. Is it morning? Is it afternoon? Those are probably better ideas than nighttime.
Yeah. And when you're thinking about customers, city officials are also customers, and you got to think about local officials and when are they able to come for your open house or, that big launch day.
Yeah, who your stakeholders are.
Mhm.
You also want your lenders to be there.
Oh,
You
great
want
point.
all of the
Yes.
network that you have been establishing since your idea
Yeah.
to
Come
be
help you
able to
celebrate.
be there and celebrate. So you don't want to leave only like 2 weeks between the time you decide you're doing the grand opening and then you're actually doing it.
Great point.
You want at least 30 to 45 days from when you first announce, so save the date. So you have plenty of time to make sure that you have contacted everybody, that you want to be there. excuse me, followed up if you hadn't heard back from some very
Right.
important people, got your press release out there. We have a grand opening checklist that we provide to all of our clients. Here are the things that you want to be thinking about. Are you going to have food? Is it going to be, a 2 hour? Is it going to be a ribbon cutting involved? And we can help you with your ribbon cutting as well. So again, keeping ties with the network that you've established from the beginning of your idea stage to the point where you are cutting that ribbon and going to make your first dollar as a business. So the grand opening is very important. And as was just mentioned, we want to make sure it's on a day that is convenient for the majority of the
Yes,
people.
yeah, you can't have everybody, but
Can't have everybody, but definitely staying away from holidays. I like the mention about when the kids are at school or when they aren't at school. That can make a difference in the ability. Summertime is a great to have have a nice day to have a grand opening, but maybe you've got to also understand vacations are happening, those kinds of things. So you don't not do it if that's when you're ready to open, but you need to keep in mind the length of time, what it's going to be like. We've had virtual grand openings for clients.
yeah,
Because we do work with
E-commerce.
e-commerce businesses. And so we have done it where we have put it on a screen and it's live on Facebook or live on Zoom, wherever it is. And the actual ribbon cutting occurs as a visual.
yeah,
And
it can still be fun.
it can absolutely be fun. So whatever that launch may mean, make sure that you are keeping in touch with your network. You are seeing what other resources might be available to support you during this launch, but after as well,
Yeah.
right? Because the first day and that ribbon cutting is the funnest day.
Yeah,
But you still are, now comes doing business and keeping the brand going, keeping the finances in line, managing your team if you have employees that you brought on. So when you're planning through this whole thing, those are the ideas and those are the goals that you're putting in place that then will be implemented.
right.
So
And-
there is something to say about planning. I know not everybody likes that.
And you're a small business and think about, you want other people to support you. So when
Yes.
you are planning, how can you incorporate the community, the other small businesses, and show that support right back? Whether it's, the cupcakes that they're at the grand opening, or you're using the local balloon artist to help you celebrate.
Yeah.
Janet, talk to us about talking to media. That's definitely your specialty. How are we pulling them into the launch?
Well, you can invite them, your favorite news anchor, your favorite reporter, and you can just look at our website, SBA Pittsburgh, and look at our news releases. Gannon can help you. It doesn't have to be big and elaborate, and you want to use creative wording, like there's a new cupcake boss in town. And, make sure you invite all of your suppliers so they can cross promote for you.
That's a great point.
So, invite those news anchors, invite local mayors, county executives, and bear in mind, if they're busy, they can always come back on your first month anniversary, or if you have a cupcake decorating party, that's a great way to get the community involved. For every dozen you buy, you can decorate a cupcake. And you have to bear in mind that news fluctuates. There could be a fire or a weather-related event that, they're planning on coming, but they can't come. So what you do is you have your friends, your family, take videos and send them to the news.
That's a
We've
great
had that
idea. I
happen
love
a
that.
lot. And send it to local newspapers, send it to community newspapers. And then for every event you do, like if you do have that cupcake decorating contest where you buy a dozen or a half dozen and you decorate, or if you have cupcake parties, post those to your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever vehicle you choose, and make sure you send it to local media. You never know if they're going to run it. It might just be so fun watching people decorate cupcakes. Maybe you have adults decorating for Valentine's Day. It's kind of hard to use kids. You do need special permission. So you want to keep that in mind. But if you have a Valentine cupcake decorating contest for adults, that would be great for TV.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing between the two of you is we did all this prepping, we have the launch, but it sounds like we still keep going with things. We don't just, all right, I'm launched and I'm open and that's all I do. Now my head's down and I'm just plowing through sales.
Yeah.
There's more.
There is always more. As long as your door is open, people are buying your products, or you want them to be buying your products and services, it's always going to go on. But if you have that good base, you have begun in a very positive way, and that's going to help you to keep that momentum because you have that ready to go. I really enjoyed what was just said about making sure you're sending the graphics and the visuals in, if for some reason the media didn't make it.
That's a good point.
Because they also could want to do a follow-up story, right? So maybe they couldn't be there, and it could even be if they just had something else that they couldn't
It's a
make
full
it.
news day or
A
something.
full news day.
Mhm.
But give them a reason to keep you in mind, to make them aware that you exist.
Mhm.
And it's nothing to do a press release, right? It's not costing you anything. As Janet mentioned, we have examples on our site, SBA has examples on their site. You see them every day, you just might not recognize them as a press release. But just keep it simple, save the dates, and enjoy. I don't know if that's a word.
We're making it a word.
We're making it a
Re-enjoy,
word.
people.
That day by doing it once a year.
Yeah. Celebrate your anniversary.
Celebrate your anniversary.
Yeah.
People love that they are going to be reminded, right? We talk about branding and advertising and marketing. Do you really think McDonald's has to advertise? Who doesn't know McDonald's exists?
Right.
But they need to keep them, they have to be kept top of mind.
Yeah.
Because we have so many other options that are happening. So you can't rest on your laurels. Everything you put into your brand, into your marketing for your first event, your launch, all of the social media, all of the press releases, everything that you did to get the word out, you can't just think that that's going to last for the next 6 months.
Yeah. I feel like we need another episode that's called So Now What?
And you also want to give back to the community. I know you just opened, but maybe your passion is coat drives or blankets for veterans. You can offer, again, going back to that cupcake, or if you have a bakery, a donut shop, a free cupcake for every coat that is donated. That's going to drive traffic in, and you can each week post the number of coats that you have and where it's going, and that will generate traffic. People always have gently used coats that, maybe they outgrew and they want to donate. And it's a great way to give back to the community, donate awareness to the need for warm coats or blankets, and give somebody a small token of appreciation, what you are great at, making cupcakes or donuts, whatever it is. Give them a small token of appreciation for lending a hand to the community.
That's a great idea, Janet. I like that.
And that's what small business is all about, right?
Yeah, you're not
That's
a silo.
Yeah, small businesses do that the larger corporations can't or don't do. That's what will, embrace and really make them feel like you appreciate their business too. And that's the other piece. You have to make sure that it's both sides. You appreciate their business, they appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what gets that relationship going, nurtures, and continues it throughout the years.
All right, Janet.
Just think, baseball teams, softball teams, swim teams. Do you see corporate America sponsoring those? Of course not. It's the local small business. Whenever you have a 5K shirt, it's filled with mostly small
Great
businesses.
point.
And you wear that shirt with pride because you ran the 5K or you're on the team. And it's that local small business that steps up to the plate to provide funds for that and their logo. And so as a thank you, make sure you stop in.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
like that. All right, final thoughts from you both on the launch.
Enjoy it because it is a long time coming. It feels like
Right.
it's forever and there's so much that happened, but enjoy it. Be proud of where you are. Keep taking that joy that you felt that day that you opened. Keep that in your heart and in your forefront as you run that business every day, because there can be some days that you're tired.
Why did I do that?
And yeah, and you're thinking, wow.
Yeah.
But when you stay with that core, you will understand and you will flourish with the success that will come with it. But keep your focus on everything that you have already put in place to get you to the launch, and then use that as your jump from there. That, okay, got all that done. Now we are going to, make sure that we keep going and we gain customers and we become very successful. But make sure the key points on launch: get the word out every avenue you can, every avenue. Reach out to your network, like the SBDC, like the SBA, the chambers. There are a number of resources that love our small businesses. So make sure you get the word out everywhere
Right.
that you can. Make it distinctive. If get a lot of pictures, get the video. Keep in mind that you may or may not make the news that day, or they may not get out there, but then you have the opportunity to have that, have those materials to be able to get it out the following week, or to remember a year later when you're cutting the ribbon for your anniversary. You can be showing those highlights from the year before. So embrace it, enjoy it, and reach out and let the resources that are here to help you.
Janet, final thoughts from you.
The passion. Pour that passion in every day. Pour that passion of loving your cupcake batter and your frosting in every day, and people will come, because your product is you. It defines you. It's your love. It's your creation. They'll taste the love in your product, whether it's a product or service. They'll be able to tell the difference, and they'll come back.
That's awesome. All right, we covered a lot in these four sessions, 4 podcasts. Stick around, and I'm sure we're going to partner again with SBA. Janet, we appreciate it so much.
As do we.
Definitely. So,
Thanks everybody for
thanks,
joining.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.